In the heart of Nigeria, nestled among rolling hills and verdant fields, lay the village of Kuje. It was a place where the sun painted the sky with hues of orange and gold, and where laughter and music filled the air. In this vibrant community lived a girl named Folake, a bright and curious 12-year-old with a heart full of dreams. Folake was known for her intelligence and tenacity. She often spent her afternoons studying by the riverside, her favorite spot, where the sound of flowing water and the rustling leaves inspired her thoughts. She dreamed of becoming a doctor, wanting to help her community overcome illnesses that often went untreated. Her passion for learning was evident, and the elders of Kuje recognized her potential. One day, during a village meeting, the chief stood up, his voice booming with pride. "Folake will represent us in the city. She will attend school there and learn to bring knowledge back to Kuje." The villagers erupted in cheers, their faith in her palpable. Folake's heart soared as they blessed her with hopes and prayers, filling her with determination to make them proud. As she prepared for her journey, Folake packed her belongings, her tattered notebook filled with notes, a few clothes, and the photograph of her family. She hugged her mother tightly, tears in her eyes. "I will make you proud, Mama. I promise." The next day, she boarded a bus for the city, her heart racing with excitement and fear. The ride was long and bumpy, but as they approached the city, Folake pressed her face against the window, marveling at the sights. Towering buildings, bustling streets, and a sea of people overwhelmed her senses. She felt both exhilarated and terrified. On her first day at school, Folake arrived early, her heart pounding with anticipation. She clutched her bag tightly as she walked through the gates. The school was larger than any building she had ever seen, with colorful murals and students chatting animatedly. But as she stepped into her classroom, she felt the weight of eyes upon her. "Look at the village girl," a voice whispered from the back. Folake's stomach dropped as laughter erupted. She had been warned that city kids could be harsh, but the reality was crushing. Despite her desire to fit in, she felt like an outsider. As days turned into weeks, the teasing continued. Classmates would imitate her accent, mock her clothes, and exclude her from group activities. Folake tried to focus on her studies, but the constant bullying weighed heavily on her spirit. She would sit alone during lunch, picking at her food while her classmates laughed and joked around her. Desperate to escape the pain, Folake threw herself into her studies, hoping that her grades would make her peers respect her. She would spend hours in the library, poring over textbooks and working on assignments late into the night. But the loneliness lingered like a shadow, and she often returned to her small room with tears in her eyes, feeling defeated. One particularly difficult day, she returned home after being taunted for her village background. She locked herself in her room, clutching the photograph of her family. "I can't do this," she whispered to herself, feeling like a failure. The dream she once held close felt distant and unattainable. Would she ever make her village proud? Just as despair began to settle in, a glimmer of hope arrived in the form of Mzada, her history teacher. Ms. Ada was a kind and compassionate woman who noticed Folake's struggles. After class one day, she approached her, concern etched on her face. "Folake, I see how hard you work. Don't let their words discourage you. You have a spark inside you." Her words struck a chord. Folake felt a flicker of hope igniting within her. Ms. Ada encouraged her to join the after-school study program where students could collaborate and support one another. "You'll find friends who appreciate you for who you are," she assured Folake. Tentatively, Folake attended the study group. The first few days were daunting. She felt out of place among her classmates. But slowly, she began to see a change. A group of students welcomed her, sharing their notes and helping her catch up with the lessons she had struggled with. They laughed together, and for the first time, Folake felt a sense of belonging. One evening, as they prepared for an upcoming math test, Folake shared her dreams of becoming a doctor. "I want to help my village," she said, her eyes shining with passion. "I want to provide healthcare and make a difference." Her classmates listened intently, and for the first time, she saw admiration in their eyes rather than ridicule. As her confidence grew, so did her academic performance. Folake's grades improved, and she became a key member of the study group. With each success, she felt the burdens of isolation and sadness lifting. She began to embrace her unique identity, sharing stories of her village and the beautiful traditions that shaped her. However, the shadows of her past experiences still lingered. A group of bullies remained persistent, their taunts echoing in her mind. One day, As she left the library, they cornered her. "You think you're better than us now?" one girl sneered, pushing her shoulder. Folake felt her heart race. She was tempted to run, but remembered Ms. Ada's words. Gathering her courage, she replied, "I'm not better than anyone. I'm just trying to learn and grow." Surprised by her confidence, the bullies hesitated, their laughter faltering. In that moment, Folake realized the power of her voice. Though the challenges were far from over, she was no longer the scared girl who had arrived in the city. Months passed, and the school year neared its end. Folake had transformed in ways she never imagined possible. She had found her footing, made friends, and learned to stand up for herself. Yet, despite her progress, she missed her village dearly. The bustling city, while vibrant and full of opportunities, sometimes felt lonely. One day, as she sat in Ms. Ada's class, an announcement caught her attention. The school was hosting an annual talent show, and students were encouraged to showcase their talents. Folake felt a spark of inspiration. She could tell her story, the journey of a village girl, finding her way in the city. With Ms. Ada's encouragement, she began to prepare. Folake spent nights writing and rehearsing her presentation. She wanted to convey not only her struggles but also the importance of community, resilience, and hope. As the date approached, she felt a mix of excitement and nerves. Finally, the day of the talent show arrived. Folake stood backstage, her heart pounding in her chest. She could hear the murmur of the audience and the sound of applause for other performers. When her turn came, she stepped into the spotlight, her palms sweaty but her resolve strong. "Good evening, everyone," she began, her voice steady despite the nerves. "My name is Folake, and I'm here to share my story. I come from a small village called Kuje, where dreams are woven into the fabric of our community. But when I came to the city, I faced challenges I never expected." As she spoke, she saw the audience lean in, captivated by her words. She shared her experiences with bullying, her struggles to fit in, and the support of Ms. Ada and her friends. With each story, she felt her heart lighten and her confidence swell. "I learned that it's okay to be different, and that our backgrounds shape us in beautiful ways," she continued. "I want to use my education to help others, just like my village believed I could. Together, we can create change, no matter where we come from." When she finished, the room erupted in applause. Folake felt tears of joy welling in her eyes as she took a bow. In that moment, she knew she had transformed her pain into power, her fears into courage. The cheers of the audience echoed in her heart, filling her with a sense of belonging she had long yearned for. After the show, students approached her, offering congratulations and compliments. The same bullies who had once tormented her now looked on with newfound respect. Folake smiled, realizing she had turned the tide not just for herself, but for others who felt out of place. With the school year coming to a close, Folake returned to Kuje for the holidays, bursting with stories and experiences. As she shared her journey with the villagers, they listened in awe, their pride evident in their expressions. Folake spoke of the importance of education, resilience, and believing in oneself. "Your support gave me strength," she said, her voice filled with emotion. "I want to inspire others to chase their dreams, no matter how difficult the path may seem." As she returned to the city for the next school year, Folake felt a sense of purpose guiding her. She was no longer just a village girl lost in a big city, she was a beacon of hope for herself and others. She continued to excel in her studies, and with each passing day, she grew more determined to make a difference in both her village and the city. In the years that followed, Folake thrived academically and socially. She became a leader in her school, advocating for kindness and understanding among her peers. She organized tutoring sessions for students who struggled, helping them find the confidence she once lacked. Her story inspired many, and the impact of her journey reverberated beyond the walls of her school. Eventually, Folake graduated with honors. The day she received her diploma, she looked out into the audience and spotted her family and friends from Kuje, their faces beaming with pride. They had traveled to the city to celebrate her achievements, and in that moment, Folake felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. With her degree in hand, she enrolled in medical school, driven by the vision of returning to Kuje as a doctor. She wanted to provide healthcare to those who needed it most, to ensure that no one in her village would suffer from treatable conditions. Folake's journey was far from over, but with the support of her community, she was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Years later, as a doctor, Folake returned to Kuje, this time as a symbol of hope and resilience. The villagers welcomed her with open arms, their pride in her achievements palpable. She opened a small clinic, dedicating herself to serving her community and educating them about health and wellness. Folake often reflected on her journey, the struggles, the friendships, and the lessons learned along the way. She knew that her story was not just about overcoming obstacles. It was about the strength found in community, the power of belief, and the importance of second chances. As she walked through the village, surrounded by laughter and love, Folake felt a deep sense of fulfillment. She had turned her dreams into reality, and in doing so, she inspired others to pursue their own paths. Her journey was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the enduring bonds of community, a powerful reminder that no matter where one starts, hope and determination can light the way forward. And so Folake's legacy lived on, weaving through the hearts of those in Kuje, inspiring them to dream, to believe, and to rise above challenges, just as she had done. This version captures more detail about Folake's experiences, emotions, and growth throughout her journey, while emphasizing the themes and chameleons and community support.